All right. Basically, we'll say $50,000. It's probably towards the high end of the starting salary if you're not, coming away with a master's degree. Well, we'll say it's kind of right in the middle somewhere. But $150,000 is just $50,000 a year for 3 years. Okay? What would make somebody spend that much money on you? What do you have? First thing is the basics, punctuality. If you show up late, even 30 seconds late, and you have not called me, you will not get the job. I don't care if I'm hired for a med position and you are a Doogie Howser. You will not get the job. Did anybody understand that, by the way? Y'all understand who Doogie Howser is? I've got to make sure I stay within the age range here. Punctuality, though, and here is the greatest punctuality tip you're ever hearing. If you are not willing to be early, that is the only way you will be on time, is if you are willing to be early. So I don't care if you have to take your iPod, a book, your computer, watch a movie in the parking lot. I don't care what you have to do. But if you give yourself a 20-minute buffer and you hit Dallas traffic and you're late, you'll miss the job. I guarantee you. So you've got to be willing to be early. So people who say that they are always late, oh, I always run into traffic. No, you just don't leave early enough. I'm never late. If I'm late, call the police. Because I'm probably dead or a car accident or something because I'm just not late. So why are the same people always hitting those chunks of traffic? Why are the same people's alarm clocks always not going off? Well, they always slept past it. Okay? If you sleep past your alarm clock, there's an alarm clock that has wheels. When it goes off, it will roll off your desk, and you have to get out of bed to go turn it off. Okay? That is they do have an alarm clock that has wheels. So, and they also have one that has propellers that will fly in the air. So, yeah, they do have those too. That if you hit the snooze button, you have a credit card attached to it, and it will donate a quantity of money to an organization that you do not support. So if you hate guns, the second you hit snooze, $50 to the NRA. Thank you. So the other thing is presentation. Here's another thing. If you've got a job interview at, let's say, PricewaterhouseCoopers, I would call the receptionist and I would say, Ms. Jones, I've got an interview tomorrow. I was just curious, what do you think the suggested attire would be? They will tell you. If they say suit and tie, do that. Okay, I'm not into women's fashion, so I don't know what you women wear to things, but ask another woman. But as far as, I would always dress one level above what they suggest. So if they say, hey, a button-up is fine, I'd wear a button-up and a tie for guys. Like I said, women ask each other, don't know. So I would try to always be one level up, because the last thing you want to do is walk in jeans and a guy interviewing you is in a suit. Okay? All right. This next one may sound like a joke. It's not a joke. I've seen it 100 times. When I was working with the Frog Camp, I probably interviewed 2,500 students while I was at TCU. X marks the not, as in not getting hired. If you have an X on your hand from the bar the night before, you will not get hired. Okay? Take a shower. I don't care if you go out the night before. Get home early, take a shower. Don't smell like a bar. Don't have any stamps, X's, or anything on your hand. Some of you are shaking your head like, would somebody actually do that? Yes, they will do it. So make sure you are clean. Okay? Make sure that you have washed your hands. You don't have any bracelets on, tags, anything like that. Because what that guy's going to sit there, or what that lady's going to sit there and think is, you've got a job interview and you can't prepare enough to take a shower before you come. I interviewed one girl who put on Facebook, trying to get, I got home late, I had this BS interview in the morning. So she walked in and I asked, I said, was this the BS interview or do you have another one after this? So, there are certain ways to get yourself thrown to the bottom of the stack very quickly, and X on your hand is one. Okay? The gatekeeper. The gatekeeper is whoever, when you walk into the office, maybe it's a receptionist, maybe it's some type of assistant that's sitting out there. Be nice to everyone, okay? In my wife's company, the hiring manager will call the gatekeeper after every candidate and say, did you talk to them? What did they say? Were they nice? Were they rude? Were they talking to someone else? In my wife's company, they will do that. The second you interview, they will call the person sitting out in the receptionist area and say, what did you think of them? That happens, okay? So be polite to everybody. When you walk in and somebody holds the door open for you, be nice to them. Those people may play a very pivotal role in whether or not you get a job. If you're rude to them, or if you're on the phone and you're, cussing out one of your friends, or, they may pass that information along and say, hey, just an FYI. That would be a very unfortunate way to lose a possible job, okay? Be observant. Now, this also has a little bit of discretion here. This does not mean when you're sitting across the table from somebody interviewing saying, oh, I see you got a Pepsi. I like Pepsi too. That's not what that means, okay? That means if you see something in their office that you can speak to. For me, I'm a big golfer. I love the Masters. If I see somebody there that has a Masters flag, I'll say, hey, have you been to the Masters? Yeah, I've been. I went last year. It was incredible. That gives you something to talk about. But sitting there going, man, I like that tie. Got one kind of looks like that. That's not what I'm talking about. But if there's something in their office that you can speak to, maybe it's a diploma, a unique school that your mom went to, you may say, oh, my mom went there. It's just something to connect with, but just be observant into what they have in their office. A lot of places they'll take you into kind of a conference room where you cannot do this. But if there's something on there that you can speak to, not just, hey, this is pretty cool, mention it. Say something. Do you hunt a lot? Do you fish a lot? Are you a big runner? I see your marathon medals right there. Do you run a lot? I just got finished running in the Houston Marathon a couple weeks ago. So that's one of those things that you can do. Just be observant. Be prepared. These were some of the questions that were asked in the program earlier. For me, you can't be too prepared. Research the company and its competitors. So I figure out, company A, who do they compete with? How much do they compete? Anything you can find out about them. I would look through the website, every page. If there's a mission statement on it, I would remember what the mission statement is, or at least to some degree. If there's something on there that you like, write it down. If there's something on there that makes you want to ask a question, write down the question and say, hey, I saw on there that you guys have 25 locations, but you're looking into adding another 5 here in the next 2 years. Where are the next 5 going? Y'all moving into a new region? That's a question where they go, okay, this person's done their homework. Okay? Do some research. Research industry trends. If you want to go into oil and gas, look into what fracking is doing. If you're wanting to go into accounting, look if there's any changes to any kind of accounting laws, anything like that. If you want to go into nursing, are there any major nursing trends? Is there a shortage of nurses? Is there, whatever it is, look to see if there's any kind of industry trend. Like I said, study the company mission statement. And this will tell you a lot about who you're working for. If you look, I don't know it off the top of my head, but if you look at Southwest Airlines mission statement, it talks about we treat each other internally as good as we can, and that will allow us to treat everybody else outside the company better. That to me shows that they really care about internal customer service. Okay? So I would just look at that, but definitely spend some time studying the company and the competitors.